So when you were mad at him, you would remember that you were.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And when you sit there,
You would read it. So when my mom was mad at him, you would remember.
was mad at him, and we'd go and read the note. If I was ever mad at him, it only lasted like a couple minutes. We were never had a fight or a fight.
When people say they do everything together, my parents didn't go anywhere themselves. I mean, if my mother wanted to go shopping, my father took her shopping. I don't know, Leslie has a husband that goes shopping, but I don't know too many men that actually take their wives shopping, clothing shopping.
And be happy when you buy something for $400.
Buy something. Like when I came home and I was empty-handed. So I would always say to him when I came home from shopping, well, I bought so much that it's in the truck. Yeah.
My sister yesterday said when they were married, they set the bar.
David Sansino told me that.
Yeah.
And Momi told me that. And a few other people told me that in the past few weeks. The same thing.
Where did you all
meet?
Blind date.
Yeah. He came to Philadelphia to go to school, to go to Temple, and he didn't know anybody in
It was from Bristol.
He was from Bristol, Pennsylvania. They grew up. He was the youngest of 5. He has a twin sister, and they were babies. And he came to Philadelphia to go to school, and he met a guy named Joe Hogan. They became friends, and Joe was dating Sylvia, and I was a friend of Sylvia's. So they made a blind date, and we were 16. And that was it. Joe and Sylvia didn't stay together. But
And you were married then, how many
20.
years later?
4
4
years.
4 years later.
4 years later.
Mm-hmm.
But it was
But you were
delayed.
never actually married, right?
No, they just didn't have a big wedding.
They
Yeah, we had a wedding plan.
What?
Wait.
I meant they didn't have an actual wedding.
We had a wedding plan in June 1947.
No, wait, you don't remember that the guy was really good?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
something was
What?
Right. And
My mom
Phil's
was
mother became very ill. She had cancer, and she was like at the end. All that winter, nobody really knew. We just knew she was sick, but we didn't know how bad. So we canceled the wedding. And then Phil was off from school for the summer, so he spent the summer taking care of his mother and sister. And I would go on weekends to be with them. And then finally we were in the car one night in front of my house, and the two of us looked at each other and we said, my mother had gotten seriously hurt that July, and it was August, and he said, we're never really going to have a wedding, so let's just go to the rabbis. And we said, let's just go next Friday. We didn't know what date next Friday was. Next Wednesday. So we went the following Wednesday to Rabbi Rosen in West Philadelphia.
Okay.
Because we had already had our marriage certificate. And my brother went with me, my brother Leonard, and Bill's twin sister Rita went, and the 4 of us went to Rabbi Rosen's. And that's where we got married on Wednesday afternoon, August the 20th, 1947. And then from there, we went to see my mother, who was still, she had cut her foot very badly on the beach. So she was still at home recovering. And we went to Phil's sister, who lived like 2 blocks away from my parents. And then we went to see Aunt Ruthie, who had just given birth to Ellen. And and then, who all came, they came with us to the train station because we went to Bristol. So Reba came with us, and
Right.
we all got in the train in Philadelphia to go to Bristol, and everybody thought Reba was coming on our honeymoon. So we went to Bristol to see Phil's parents and tell them we were married. And then we went to New York from Wednesday till Sunday, and that was our
New York City or
New York.
Excuse me, Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls?
No.
I thought it was Niagara Falls too.
No, we just went to New York. We went to the Hotel Pierre.
Ooh.
I thought, wait a second,
Yeah.
when did you go to
Whoa.
Niagara Falls?
Never.
No,
I've heard Niagara
I did. You didn't?
You sure you are related?
Maybe that was just one of Poppop's things.
One of his jokes.
Yeah.
The joke's on us finally. He's still
All right.
joking with us.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a joke.
Yeah,
That was it.
and then they moved for a year. After that, you moved down to New Orleans.
Yeah, for long. That's-
After he graduated down school, he went into the public health service,
Mhm.
and he was, because he was a dentist, he was a lieutenant JG right away. He was stationed in Savannah for 3 months, then New Orleans for a year, then Philadelphia for a year, and then Baltimore for a year, and then 3 months in Connecticut, in Groton, and then he was discharged. And that was during the Korean War. So that's why they extended his time.
Wow. And then you moved back to Philly?
Then we moved back to Philly, and then we built a house and an office, a little
Croydon.
a dental was half off dental office and half we lived in. And that's where Leslie was born, and Robin had already been born in Philly when we got back from New Orleans.
So I just found out that it was holiday. I don't know what hospital I thought it was.
Yeah, you were all three of you.
We were Ottoman and Steffi was Einstein.
And Steffi was Einstein. That was the other.
In Frankfurt. You and Emmy were Frankfurt.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we found out 25 years later, there was an article on the front page of the Inquirer that said the rabbi we use never had a certificate.
I was wondering when she was using that part of the story. We talked about the.
25 years.
The other couple that went to
I
Niagara
thought you
Falls,
found
it was
out.
really
Yeah.
Like 40 years later.
Oh my
It was 25 years?
25 years
So
later.
did you have to get remarried?
No, we never. We decided it was fine the way it was.
So we're all legitimate.
Illegitimate.
Well.
Legitimate?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't